Hello everyone and welcome to the second part of this video series where we are making Dribble clone using Next.js. Now in the previous video I made this first step of the upload section, and this does not do anything right now. Only this takes video or image as an input when we click on this, and then this takes you to the next step. Now in this video we are going to actually render those images or videos over here, and then we are going to start working on the components that we are going to use in the upload section. So right now if I show you those components, so I think this was that. Okay, so let's go to the share work and let's upload our image over here. So okay, so we have these four components over here, and now in this video we are going to start working on them. And the first component that I'm going to start working on is this text component. Okay, so let's first render those images over here that we are uploading, and then we can start working on the first component. Okay, so right now I'm going to make a state over here, and then I'm going to store the local file URL of those images inside this state, and then I'm going to render over here. And after when we finished making all the components in the upload section, I'm going to use Cloudinary to upload the images, and then I'm going to take those image URLs and save it in our hook. Then I'm going to make that later. So I hope you understand. I'm doing this because I don't want to make this project complicated from the start. I want to go step by step and then modify these steps when we understand more about this project. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. So for now I'm just going to make a state name, let's say a local URL, and set local URL. So this will be used to store our URLs of the images or video. So okay, and now let's do some changes in this function. So we can first check if the event.target.files is available or not, and also we can check that event.target.files.length is greater than 0 or not. If these two are true, then we are going to get the URL from that, and for that I'm going to use the file reader here. So we can write const reader. We are making new instance of file reader, and then we are going to start reader.onload. This will be a asynchronous function, okay, for the later course, since we are going to do some asynchronous task in this function. So that's why I'm making this asynchronous. So we can then first check if the reader.result is available or not. Okay, if we have the result, then we can set the local URL like this. And now let's also get the file here. So we can write const file is equals to event.target.files and the first value. Now using this file we are going to know what is the type of file that we are uploading here, and we need to store that in a state so that we can render either the image component or the video component. Okay, so we need to make one more state over here, const file type set file type is equals to use state, and this will be a type of string. Okay, and here we can write clg for consoling, and then we can write type file dot type. So let's see what value we are getting first. So let's save this. Okay, and let's upload this image. Okay, now let's console, and the file type is image/jpg. So we can write if the file dot type dot starts with /image, then we are going to set the file type to image, else if the file dot type, we can just copy that from here, is video. So if this starts with video, okay, not here, it should be like this. Okay, so then we are going to set file type to video. Okay, now let's save and refresh this again. Let's upload a video over here. Let's say this one. Okay, now the video type is video/mp4, and let's also console the file type here, clg file type. Okay, and as you can see, this is video type. Okay, let's do one more time. Okay, and this is image. So this is working. Let's do similarly for the handle drop. So we can actually just copy this. Okay, and event.target, not event.data transfer, and same here as well. So event dot data transfer dot files. Now these two functions are almost similar, so we can make a different function for them. So we can write const maybe handle file, and then we can write like this. This will take file as an input, type will be file, and then this will do all these things. So we can just copy this and paste here. Okay, so we just have to remove this one, and now we are going to call that function here. So this will be handle, wait a minute, so remove all this, call handle file and pass the file. So the event dot target dot files first. Similarly, we can go down and remove all this, and then we can call that function handle file and pass event dot data transfer dot files first value. Now let's save and let's see if this is working or not. So I'm going to, okay, so let's first choose this one. So this is working. We have the image type and everything, and let's check for the drag and drop. So I'm going to choose maybe this one. So this is working as well. So both are working again. Now I'm going to render those images or videos over here. So we can go in the step 2, remove this, make one more div, and then one more div, give this a class name of w9/12 and mx auto to make everything in center. Then inside that, add a text area, and then add calls value to, so column value to 30, and then rows will be of 1. Then we are going to give a placeholder. So placeholder will be give me a name, and after that we can add a class name of focus outline none. Then we can add text for Excel and font bold. And now let's save, and when we, okay, so now we have the title over here. Okay, now let's save the value of this text area inside the state, and we are going to use this value in the final value that we are going to save to the database. So set title, and this will be equals to use state, type will be string, and then we can go below, add the value to title, and then we can write on change of set title to event, sorry, let's write event here, which will be denoted by e. So e dot target dot value. Okay, and that's it for the title. And now we are going to render our images. So outside this, we are going to make one more div. So now let's make one more component here, and we are going to call it FirstMedia.tsx. And now this component will take some parameters. So first will be the URL. This will be a type of string or null, and the second would be type, and the type would be video or image. Okay, so these two types will be there, and now we can just structure them here. Type. After that, let's remove this. Give this div a class name of mt10 mb5 and px5 flex call, and then inside this div make one more div. Give this a class name, and we are going to write it like this. Now hover. So when we hover, we want that border to be 2 pixel thick. Then give this transition all, duration of 150 milliseconds is in, and rounded XL for border radius, and MX auto to make everything in center. Now we are going to define a state over here so that we can know if we have clicked inside this div or not. So we are going to write const clicked element, initial value would be false. After that, we are going to use a use effect here to change the value of this state, and inside that we are going to first define a function which will change the value of the state. So handle click outside, and this will take an event as a parameters, which will be a type of mouse event. Okay, and after we are going to get the div element, document dot get element by id, and then pass the id. So let's give this id of my div, and let's write here as well. Okay, and after that we can write if the div element and div element does not contain the target, then we can make the set click element to false. Okay, and we are going to invoke this function on an event listener. So we can write document dot add event listener, type would be mouse down, and then we can call that function. After that we are going to clean up, so return function, and here we are going to write document dot remove event listener and then that function. Okay, and now after that we can use that clicked element. If that is true, then we are going to make the border of 2 and then border color of pink 500. Okay, so pink 500, otherwise we are going to do nothing. Okay, now make one more div, give this a class name, object cover, flex item center, justify center, p4, and for now the size would be max wlg. Okay, and okay, so max w screen lg, transition all, duration would be of 100 milliseconds, and is in the type, and here I'm going to give min height of 400 pixels. And after that, if we have the data, that means if we have the URL over here, so we can write, if we have the URL, then we can write bg gray 100 for background, otherwise the BG would be white. Lastly, rounded LG and margin of 1. Okay, now inside this we are going to render our data. So if we have the URL, so we are going to first check if we have the URL or not. Okay, otherwise we are going to like this. Okay, let's write a div for now here. Okay, so otherwise like this, and let's write a div for now here, and here we can write if the type, so if the type is equals to image, then we are going to have an image over here, image. Otherwise we are going to have a video over here. Okay, so I guess you understand the syntax. I'm using 2 times the ternary operator here. Okay, so this is how it is going to look. So first we are checking if we have the URL or not. If we don't have a URL, we are going to show something else. So I'm going to actually show a label. Inside that we are going to have a div. First give this label a class name of flex call, and item center, justify center, and min height of 400 pixels, and aspect would be video. And now inside that we can have a div and give this class name of text center, and then inside that we can write drag and drop, and here we are going to have the type, so we can write the type or click to browse. Okay, and yeah, that's it. And now we are going to add the src over here. So src would be URL, and then add a class name. So we can add a class name here of rounded XL transition all, and duration will be of 75 milliseconds, is in, and W full H auto. Okay, and then in the, okay, so we can also give alt value, but I'm not giving that. And then we are going to have a video tag. Give this a class name of rounded XL W full H auto, and then we are going to give the src value, which would be URL. Okay, and now let's save and go back to the upload component, and let's import that FirstMedia component. Now let's see. Okay, so now let's pass the type. Type would be file type, and then we are going to pass the URL, and this will be local file URL, local URL. Okay, so string image. So let's copy this. Okay, and we can write this. What is the problem? URL and image. So the type is not assignable. Okay, let's, for now we can add the default type to be image. And now the second problem is that string undefined is not, so we can go here and make this undefined. Okay, so now there should not be any problem now. Okay, let's save. Let's try to add this image. Okay, so okay, we have this, but we are not getting the image over here. Let's try to console the image or URL. So let's write URL and URL. Okay, so the URL is undefined local file URL. We are setting the local. Let's console that here as well. File URL, local URL. Okay, now okay, so we have the same problem here as well. So handle start. Okay, so the problem was that I did not pass the file to the reader so that we can read the file and get the URL, and for that we have to actually add this reader.read as data URL and then pass the file. Now let's save, and now this should be working. So let's add this image, and now we have, and as you can see, we have our image over here. Okay, and that's what we wanted. Let's add a video over here. Okay, so okay, now we have our video over here as well. So this is working. Now one thing that is not working here is that when I click on that, the border is not getting pink. So let's console the click element, sorry. So we can remove this, and we can also remove this console. Let's remove all the consoles. Okay, so we can remove this, and also okay, now let's go here and let's console the clicked element. Okay, now let's save. So when I click on this, okay, so when I click on this, nothing is happening. Okay, so the problem is that I did not add an on-click handler here, which will change the value for set clicked element, and also the ID should be here. Okay, and also there will be empty array over here for the dependency for use effect. Okay, so now let's save, and now when I click on this, okay, so set element to true. Okay, so now when I click on this, this will be pink, and when I click outside anywhere, this will turn to gray. Okay, that's why we are using this use effect. Okay, and yeah, that's all. So now this is working as well. Now we are going to add this insert button just below this media. Okay, now also add the controls here so that the videos can be played. Okay, so let's go here again. So below this div, make one more div and give this a class name of flex opacity of 0. On hover, the opacity would be 100. Okay, and then transition all. Okay, transition all, and duration will be of 150 milliseconds. Is in item center and empty 10. Okay, now inside that, make one more div, give this a class name of line, and this is just a private class just to identify. Then border of 2, h of 1.5 pixels, and border of pink 500. Then w full and rounded full. Okay, and this will be it for this div. Okay, now after that, make a button and give this a class name of p3 rounded full and bg ping of 500 flex item center and text white. And inside that we are going to add a svg, okay, and below that add a span, give this a class name of white space no wrap pl1 and text sm. Now inside that we can write insert block, and then below this button add one more div, give this a class name, or we can just copy that from here. And now let's save. And now when I hover over that div, this whole section shows up, okay. And I think that is all for this video. In the next video I'm going to start working on the text component, okay, and for that we are going to use TipTap editor. So in the meantime you can go to the Google and learn about this editor so that you would understand more when I would explain you in the next video.